How's everybody doing today? Well, I haven't really decided what I want to make today because I've sort of been playing with an idea of working with something more from our boxes from Beetalon and trying to decide what I want to play with. I was thinking, if I can find them again here. There we go. Now, this stuff is you're supposed to be able to put beads in it and then, wrap it up to make hey, Beth, some kind of a, this has got a hole for this to pull out of and it doesn't want to pull out, see? But I was thinking we might be able to find some bigger beads to put in this stuff and then wire wrap around it. Hey, Anita. Hi, Sid. To I'm thinking bracelet. You can just twist in between the beads. Could do that. But I'm thinking more of a sort of a wire wrap, maybe with a few beads on it to give it a little bit of oomph. Now, where were those clips? One of them had end clips, one of the boxes. So let's see if we can find those quickly. No, it's not those. I never have decided how I want to finish off this turquoise necklace we started the other day. I still think I want to have I know I got some clips. Where'd they go? Nope, that's not them. Put things away and then can't find them. There we are. And it looks like these actually, it says mesh clips. And it sort of looks like these have an extender chain on them even. So that might be good. So I'm thinking I have, now if I can remember where I put them, some large wooden beads, or I even have some India glass that's pretty good size that might go in here interestingly. So let's try it. Let's turn down and we'll try some stuff here. Oh my, all kinds of things came in while I was dinking around there. Hey, Dorothy. So we're going to turn around or turn over, whatever you want to call it here. And we're going to see what we can find as far as wood beads. I found some wood beads the other day. Where did I put them? Or like I say, even some big glass beads of some style. But I think wood would look really cool in here. What's in here? Ooh, boy, that's not wood. Though I suppose you could just put multiple beads in it too, and then just twist it together and make it like a... Might be interesting, actually, but... Oh, there's a big wood bead. Ooh, look at that big wood bead. Guess this bag does have some wood beads in it. I've got a little... I pulled this off the shelf, little burlap bag. I couldn't remember what was in it. Looks like we have some big wood beads in here, though, amongst other things. Oh, although I'm not sure I want to use these in the mesh. Some of these in the mesh, they might be really cool just by themselves. Oops, there goes a little bead on the floor. Oop. Can't believe I've just had this. This is another one of those things just sitting around where Rose doesn't even know what she's got. How many other people do that? If you look at something and go, what's in this? And you open it up and there's all kinds of stuff. Well, I think these wood beads actually might be big. Using, I want to make a bracelet, but I'm thinking these beads, look at this guy. Isn't that pretty? Hi, Dawn. Might make an interesting sort of ethnic necklace. So maybe we won't use those. I think I need to find a different thing to put these other things that were in here, though, other than these wood beads, because this is, oh, look, I have an empty little tray. This will work just fine. Let's turn down so you can see more about what I'm doing here. Hi, hi, hi. Hi, 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 everybody. Hi, Heather. So we're going to turn down, lift up just a hair's breadth. Now I found this little empty thing up here, so we're going to just dump all these beads into here. These were in that box that I just unburied. Oh, there's a couple more little wood beads in here. I didn't notice those. I think I'll put those in with the other wood beads. But you could use bead soup in this. Just put a whole bunch of beads in and then just, actually, let's try that. I have a bottle of bead soup. Let's try that. Come here, you. All kinds of odds and ends things in here, though some of these I may not want to put in bead soup because, like, that's a kyanite leaf right there. And that's metal. It doesn't want to go into our little piece here. That's a pretty twisted bead. I wonder if there's any more like that in here. Well, some things are going to have to come out of here. We don't want, that's all right. We don't want things that are already done up like these few things are. If we use them, we'll want to cut them off of their wires. There's a metal bead. I guess the metal beads could go in. No reason why they can't. You've made things to post, but you love them, but you're scared to post them. Post them on, are you a member of my group? Post them there. People are great in the groups. They don't really act like you're, oh, they're not so great. And if they have any suggestions, if you want suggestions on how about anything, they're usually pretty good about that too, in the groups. So go ahead and post them in the groups. So what? This little thing's sealed. I hate these things. Look, they're stuck into me. Okay, so it looks like, okay, Okay, there's 2 sets, it looks like. Oh, by the way, the tassel I made yesterday, I put it on a lobster claw. I'm thinking maybe I want to put, though I'm not sure I like it on the lobster claw. Right, with this, I'll probably put a regular jump ring between the two. But I'm thinking of I can put another dangle on it and make it into a really nice purse charm. This has to come out of here because it doesn't unwind. I don't know why they think it will. So I'm gonna cut about what my wrist would use, and then we can trim it down if we need to. So we'll just cut right here. And I'll put the rest back in the bottle. Now I got this in the black and silver color too, but I decided we'd try something with this color first before we worried about the other color. So I'm thinking we need to trying to decide how I want this end to sit. We just want it to just, I think if I can get it to do it, what I'd like to have it done, since these obviously are only about half this size, is to push the two side in so they sort of make a pleat-like thing here. Now, I've never used this stuff before, so we're just experimenting. I could just fold it over, but I just thought it might look better when it's pleated inwards like that, but we'll see. Come on, will you pleat? This side doesn't seem to want to pleat like the other side did with not too much difficulty, but well, I'll just fold it over. Pull this one's back out and fold it so it's like this. And then we'll put it in our little grippers here. And squish it closed. Okay, I think this side looks like it's folded more than the other side, so I want them to be more of a consistent, though with beads in it, it might not matter so much, but okay. So what I'm thinking is that we will just, you could do this with a big one or a wood one and just, put something between each section or, slim down, but I'm thinking I'm going to try it with my bead soup here and see what we get. Come on, go all the way down. Now, I'm not sure I like that. It doesn't seem to be, I want it to open up some so that hopefully the beads would show through better. But I'm not sure that I like it. I think we just need some bigger beads. So come on back out of there, guys. I don't think we're going to use you after all. I don't like it. I think what it really actually needs is some large beads that will fill up the space more or less. I found copper chain. You don't need to be in here. There's some nice wood beads. Let's see what these wood beads would look like in there, if they even will fit, because some of these are really good sized and others are not so good sized, but some of them are pretty though, so maybe that's... Now see, this is more like what I was expecting it to do, is spread out like that. And this wood bead goes in. Okay. I want you guys... Oh, there's a heart. How interesting. Probably want just the more... Well, these are big India glass beads. I don't know if they're what I want to use either, but who knows what we decide to use here, because this is an experimental project. Oop. There, we might use some of those. Too small. Would have swore I had a whole brand new box of India glass, but it's not here, so maybe not. Those big green tubes might look cool. Let's try those. Put these sort of aside for right now. But go down in. Oh, and I have a whole bunch of them. Might be able to make the whole necklace with just the, or whole bracelet with just these big green tubes. And just sort of divide it. Heather said twist. I just don't think a twist would stay in there. I still think I would want to put some wire or something around it. Hey, Suze. Is it like the flat mesh that Neely created? I suppose in a way it is. It's just really big instead of tiny. Oops, that one I didn't give enough space. Let's see, do I want to put any of these wood beads in here? The patterning on these wood beads would not show that's on these round ones. So I don't think I'm going to put those in there. And I sort of like this bicone shape. I might just put those on a leather necklace. They'd look good on a leather necklace. So, and I'm debating whether I want to just do all of these with the green in here like this, or if we want to put at least one of these wood beads in here. But as I probably should have cut more mesh because we're not going to get anywhere near all the way around. I didn't think about the fact that the big beads are taking up the space. But oops, untwisted. Actually, that looks sort of cool, but we need more mesh because this is not going to be big enough. So I am going to back these guys back out of here. And we're just going to get the mesh and just go from not put the end cap on at all and just go work it while it's sitting there. And I'll put this aside. I'll use this piece for something else, especially since I already got a clip on it. But I have an idea of what I want this bracelet to do now. It's going to be a big chunky. Hey, Cynthia. Is the mesh scratchy? No, not really. Put that piece aside. What I do with the little roll thing. There it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out a whole bunch, put the rest back in here and just let it, we'll just work with it sitting there like that. And I'm thinking what I want to do is put on a couple of the greens, then one of these wood beads, and another green wood bead, and two of these. And we'll see what length it is. I've got some more in case we need to add a little bit more length to it. But And I think I'm just going to put them all in here before I do the twist. And that way I can see about how much room I need here for everything I've got here. I can say I don't doubt if I'd actually buy this mesh if I was just wanting to buy something. Um, it's not something I would ordinarily use, I don't think. So, I think it can still actually take the other two beads in it. So what I'm going to do, look at this, it's unraveling here at this end. So that's one thing that I think you need to think about when you're doing these. So I'm going to trim this end back off. Well, I'm going to fold it like I'm planning on doing to put the clip on. And then I'm going to trim it some. See how it's unraveled right there at the end. So it's not straight across. So do that. Get our clip on. Now we'll push our first bead way down in there as much as we can and do the twist. And this twist is going sideways. I don't want that to happen. So we want it more in the middle. So pull you up some. I think it's because of the fold I have in there, right there. But we want to try and get it as middle as possible. It's still not quite middle, but it's closer. Push this next one down in here. See why I decided to do it without cutting it, because as you can see, it's taking a lot of this line up as I twist it up here. And I'm not sure it's going to hold the twist, so I'll probably do a little wire wrap around it as well to make sure that it does stay twisted. See, this one's untwisting right here. And that's what I was afraid of. So we will do a wrap with some wire to make sure it stays with the twist. This one really doesn't want to keep that twist. It just keeps sliding out. So up a little. Now we got to have enough for our other bead here. And then our clip, so we're going to cut about right here. And that one's coming undone now. But be a big chunky bracelet. And so no, the mesh isn't really scratchy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, Suze. That would work. You could put a large hole bead across here. I'm sure you could manage to make it go in. This hole is, I want the hole to the edges. I wonder if I can get it to move. They're both like that. I guess I'm not going to worry about it. So we're going to cut it about right here. That should give me enough, I hope. Get our last bead in here. Twist it up. Now we want to take the other side of our mesh and we're going to put it over the top. And I think I have a little more than I need, but that's all right. We'll just adjust it down the line because the twists are trying to come out in a few places. So we will just push this onto here. Oh, I squished it too soon. Look you. Now I had squished it and it wouldn't go in, so that's why I took my pliers and put on inside of here, and then I spread them like opposite the way you would normally bring a piece to get. Instead of squishing it, I opened it up a little more. I'm going to trim a little bit more of this off. It is a sort of messy. As you can see, my desk is getting covered with little fuzzy things from cutting the mesh. Let's see if I've got that in as far as I want it. Yep, it is. Good. But it still should go over this way. Just a hair's breadth, it looks like. Now, they didn't give us these clips last year, so I was sort of like, well, how are you supposed to do anything with that stuff? What's the good of it? And then we got the clips this year in the boxes, so that was helpful because it gives you a start and finish piece. Big mess. So now this is can go over here a bit more. See, this one came untwisted anyway, so that's fine. But yeah, Susan, I'm pretty sure you could just twist it enough to put a large hole bead onto it. But what I'm going to do is, you can go in there a little further and twist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some thinner wire. Let's see, I've got some 22 here. Yeah, the 22 will work. And actually, let me see something. 28, that's a little thinner than I want. I don't think the other wire was heavier, not thinner, so we want and since these are bronze, I actually would like a I think this is actually 20 or 22, but it'll work for what I want to do. Gonna probably trim that off in the end once I get to the point where I want to be done here. But what I want to do, unhook this. Probably gonna change this lobster claw because I don't like tiny lobster claws like this. They drive me nuts. So what I'm gonna want to do is now I probably should have cut the wire loose, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough wire and I wasn't jipping myself when I did these wraps. So sorry, I think I went off screen there for just a second. Around to there. Then, come on, go over there. Now this has stiffened it up quite a bit by putting all the wire wraps on there. So it's not going to be as floppy as it was. And if you wanted to, you could even reverse that and bring them back again to make a second wrap. Oh, we'll have fun, Brandy. I hope you enjoy the beach when you get to go. Yeah, you could do that too, Tammy. Put a jump ring around the between, or bells. Heather's right about that. You could use bells. Yeah, this mesh is sort of weird. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. This is sort of an experiment. You don't think this looks fun? The wrapping or the bracelet itself? I'm trying to debate whether I want to go back again, though I will tell you it obviously it was really floppy before and it's not now. So because if we go back, I can take and bring the wire around sort of where the other one wasn't, so it makes a secondary wrap going this direction, like this. Yeah, it doesn't need it. We'll take this back off, and we're going to trim this wire right here. In fact, I'll trim it right here because I put a kink in it, so we might as well get that kink off. put this away. Put the wire in the drawer and it came right back out. Guess it doesn't want to be in the drawer. And it's out again. Oh well. I'll leave it where it's at for right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to have to do that on the other side too, is I wrapped this here. But what I want to do, if I can make it do it, sometimes those things you say what you want to do doesn't always work the way you want it to. What I want to do is to take this and tuck it down into the mesh some, if I can get it to go in. I'm not sure I can get it to go in. If I can't, oh well, that's all right. We'll just squish it here. Oh, there we go. So that side's good. Now this side, where is the end? Oh, there it is, right there. Okay. Come here, you. This side's a little ugly, but oh, it's the other side of the one that's on the mesh that's already on something. Okay. So because this has got wire in it, you can just pull it around to your heart's content, sort of thing. If you need it to, you can even do this and make it twist a little more in there. Oops, that's going the opposite direction. It looks like we don't want to do that. There we go. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to change this lobster claw out. It is too small for my taste. The other stuff is fine. But... Hi, Miranda. So I'm going to change the lobster claw. Like I said, I do not like this size. I'm rather particular about my size of lobster claw. Question is, will my lobster claw go in their extender chain? And yes, no problem. Wow, I actually think this might be an oval jump ring on here. I was thinking we were going to need to change the jump ring too, but maybe not. See, this thing is so tiny. I my fingers don't even want to play with this thing. It's going in the trash can. So you can, because of the wire, you've got a little more stiffness, so you can form it, sort of. Let's see how big we ended up making this thing. Oh, look, it's 7 inches. And though actually this was not on the very last link, and we got one link up, we could go. What are you when you're on the very last link? Come on, go on there. It's still about 7, even on the last link. So that'd be the middle right there. So big chunky. So the mesh, my idea, of course, was to wire wrap it like I did here, but you guys all came up with some really cool ideas, like the putting it on the bails on it, so you can put little dangles. Putting this is what Randy jokingly calls a Wilma Flintstone bracelet. Come on, you're 7. You should fit me perfectly, but you look a little big. Very strange. Ugh, I hate putting things on by myself. Actually, this is why I usually just wear stretch bracelets, because I don't want to have to play with these things. And even with this bigger one, it's giving me problems to open it and get on the chain. And so that little tiny one would have been just horrid. Come on. And the chain's not even moving, so it's not the chain that's giving me any problems, which is what the problem usually is. When you get your lobster claw open, your piece just sort of slides sideways on you and goes away. Come on, are you in there? Nope. Close, but no cigar. Well, I couldn't get it to the end, but there. Ta-da! But yeah, I needed it up to the end to fit me better. Because I don't like my bracelets really loose. I don't mind a little loose, but I don't want them really, really, really loose. But got it. So, ta-da! So the color does come through the mesh some. So that's sort of fun. I think you'd need to intentionally find some big beads for this to work with. I wouldn't want to just do it whatever. This wrap is ugly right here, but this one looks pretty good on this white side, but this is the beginning side and it doesn't look very good. Wonder if I can straighten it a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to play with it. If I play with it, I'll make it worse. So there's our bracelet. Now, you'd want large hole if you were going to put Well, actually, I don't need to get this out. I still have the other one over here that I never did. We didn't finish because it didn't have the. Though, frankly, this end over here is messed up pretty good. So, but we were going to try large hole bead. Let's see what I have for large hole beads. Well, I have our pearls here, but I'm thinking that in all actuality, because you're going to have to squish it down quite a bit, you need a bead with a really good sized hole. And I got some. Actually, I do. Just a sec. I'll be right. They're spacer beads, but that's what we want to go over the top anyway, right? And I have some with really big holes, really good sized holes over here. Now these are ones I got specifically for going on, you know, the bigger leather and stuff like this. They have really big holes. So we're just experimenting more or less to see how that would work. We did get a bracelet made, but right now we're experimenting with different things we can do. So here is this really large hole bead. We're going to have to get the end squished down pretty good. Yeah, you have to have a pretty good sized. See, it will go over it. So that would work to you know, put something in it and then bring a like this down over it, hold it in place. And I suppose, in fact, considering it's sort of a flat, if you wanted to put something flat in here and then pull this over it, like these won't stay in here because this is something I have for, I have been putting off a project that I got these for, but these are, now I have it wrapped up, it doesn't want to unwrap. Now that might be a problem because you're going to want one of those spacers between each. And if it's wrapped and doesn't want to unwrap, it could be a problem. There we go. Just got to work it a little bit. Go on in there, sweetie. So this is one of those things, it doesn't even need to be a bead. It could be a cabochon if you're going to do it that way. Or something like that. Okay. So see, you could work this down in here and then put that on either side. Though this isn't a very vibrant color, it's pretty light colored. You'd probably want something with a darker color. So then you could put that on like that. Actually, like some smaller cabochons, not real small, because I do have some real small ones, but sit to the side, baby. See what I mean by real small cabochons? We don't want that small. This might even be a little smaller than I want. But check out this size. This size might be just the thing. And I just happen to have 4 of those. Even if I put it in here, I wouldn't leave it in here though, because that's not what I want to do with it. But it'll give us some idea of what I'm talking about. See, a cabochon's flat on one side, so you'd want to make sure that all your flat sides were going downward. Down you go. Now see, that's a lot more vibrant color. It's still not really even more vibrant would be nice, but see, you can get this in here. Now you got a flat side. Now we could, of course, like I said, we'll have to then see if we can get it undone again once we do this. Like so. I haven't done it for a long time, but has anybody ever played with a sausage sack before when you're making sausage? I haven't done it since I was a kid, but we used to, my grandparents had a farm, so we had made stuff like that sometimes. Anyway, that's what this reminds me of, is trying to make a sausage. Oh, way to go. No cigarettes for 5 days, Beth. That's good. Now we gotta make sure that our and this is flat on the one side using the cabochons, but I only have 4, so we couldn't finish it even if we wanted to. It won't work. We would need some more. But if you've got some cabochons and you didn't know what to do with them, hey, here you go. Put them through the mesh. I'm actually liking it. Big flowers, a big flower. That might work. It just needs something that you can, will fit in here, but is big enough to take up quite a bit of the room. The little ones I tried, weren't working worth beans. And if these don't come out easily, I'll just cut this stuff apart because I'm not really caring about it that much. But, oops, guys. Oh, this was the one with pyrite. The other ones are more. I think they're different. Oh no, these are 2 of one kind, and these are more a darker blue. The other 2 were. But in you go. I think that one's slightly smaller. It feels like it is. So since it feels like it's slightly smaller, we don't want it up there. We want this bigger one there. Well, if I were to leave it together. There we go. Oh, I've got another divider right here. And see, this is starting to unravel here, so you're going to probably need to trim as you go along. If You do it this way. Now, the other suggestion that Heather had was, let's see if I have them here still. I thought I did, but I'm not seeing them. I had some bales here that were large hole that had these are what they call the ball bells or bead bells that you can put on like that just go. But see, it's got as big a hole, if not a little bigger, than the piece I've been putting on here. And it's got a little bail, so you could put a dangle here. So if you wanted to put a little dangle in here, you could use these kind of things, and that would work really nicely. Now I'd probably need at least one more cabochon if I wanted to actually make this into a bracelet, but I don't know that I'd want to use all my cabochons in this manner. But even a bead, I thought of cabochons because they don't have a hole. But if you have anything that you wanted to put in these that didn't have a hole, say even, well, what gives me the idea is the sea glass. Do you have any sea glass that you've collected on the beach or something? And then you need to, this one's slightly smaller than the others, but see how that works. And then you just put the, and because it's flat, it'll lay down pretty good on the one side. But again, it's not long enough. And besides that, I'm not going to leave my pretty cabs in this stuff, and especially not on one that's not quite long enough. Well, it would be long enough probably for somebody with a smaller wrist, but there's what the idea of how the large hole bead would go over them, and that actually looks pretty good if you ask me. I like it. Lots more bead money if you don't smoke. Yeah, there you go, Beth. If you stop smoking, you got more bead money. Like this was sort of an experiment to see how we wanted to see if we could do the various suggestions that you ladies had. And there you go. There's a large hole bead. This is a spacer bead. You could use a regular. Now these got a pretty good size hole. I will say that they have a pretty good size hole. So if you know, these are this spacer, I mean this bail, you see how big that hole is? If you were wanting to use a regular, it would have to have a really good size hole. There is that, but these will go on here. As you can see, this is a really big hole too. And you have to squish the end and you have to unsquish it to get the bead back in. But it's a definite option if it's something you would like to do with this. Like I said, I don't want to use these cabochons, but I would think about doing something like this. This is a cool idea. It works really good. And I really liked the flat on the one side because it made it easier to, makes it easier to go around your wrist for one thing. But But yeah, the large holes beads will work perfectly. Your inner beads, or like Heather suggested, a bail, so you could hang some dangles, and that would also be fun. And it does work because we just tried it. The large holes. Oh gosh, Beth, oh that sucks. I'm glad no cigarettes, but at the same time, it sucks that that the medicine they gave you to help you stop smoking is making you sick to your stomach. If they think that's part of what it is, that's no fun. Um, I was wondering if a regular large hole bead would work on the outside of this, and I'm not sure it would. You'd really need to get this twisted down fine to do that. And as you can see, like I said, you're going to have extra when you do it, because you're going to be trimming these little teeny bits off the ends constantly because they are coming loose. So actually, I think I have some large hole pearls and some large hole amethyst right beside me. I know the pearls won't go through. I know that because the pearls have a, I want to call it a delicate hole, but its hole is trimmed sort of, offhand. Pearls generally are, because they drill them from two sides. They drill them from one side, and then they drill from the other side. And no, even though this is a large hole amethyst, it's not going to go on here. See how it's trying to, let's see if I can get it to you. See how it just bunched it up here? So even though I'm squishing it together, I don't think it'll go through. I can get it to start. I can get it almost to the other side, but then we've got a big bunch and it won't go through any further. Well, I'm going to be fighting it, and I'm going to pull threads out of the mesh to try and get it. So a regular large hole bead is not going to work. You need a really good sized large hole bead. So I think we've got one bracelet made. I think we tried a whole bunch of different ways to see how we could work this, and it does. But my thinking is, this is almost might sound a little silly, but this is almost like a keepsake mesh. Say you find something you really like a pretty rock or something like that. You could put those in here and make yourself a bracelet, or even a necklace if you want something that chunky for a necklace, out of this. But you'd need, as I say, it would make a good keepsake thing, because if you find a pretty piece of broken shell or something you like, or some sea glass, or a pretty rock, you could easily turn this into like a keepsake bracelet. So bye, Brandy. See you later. But so it's an interesting. This one didn't turn out too bad. I definitely need to work on getting my little ends on better, because that's off to the one side, whereas this one is much better. But considering that that could sit right by your wrist here and snug it up a little better. It's not that big of a deal. So it does work. That's a pretty good sized wooden bead I put in there. And but like I say, this make a good keepsake one, or as you saw when I put the cabochon in there, cabochon works really good inside it. I actually really liked that quite a bit. Especially as far as the shapes and things were concerned, I liked that. But yeah. I doubt if I can salvage this end cap piece though, since I squished it pretty good. But I'm probably just going to throw this away. I have no real use for it, so. Marbles. Tina, I hadn't thought about that. Or rocks and carry it to hit an intruder. Good going, Tina. That's a thought. That's a definite thought. But yeah, I think it would be cool for making like a little keepsake bracelet or something like that with sort of pretties that you've found along the way, but obviously you can't make them into a necklace or bracelet because they don't have any holes, and you're like, oh, now how can I make that work for, how can I wear that? How can I keep that? And that would, brightly colored stiff paper, when it's flat, it would make a good bookmark. You know, that's a good idea, Cynthia. I hadn't thought about that. Would I buy or wear this? I don't know that I would, but I know people who would, that like these chunky things. There are times when my chunky things sell better than anything else. And I always think, okay, that's what you want. But I don't think I'd put a really high price on this. I don't remember how much my India glass cost, but let's face it, the mesh and stuff were less spendy than, let me see if I have it wrote down here somewhere what the India glass cost, if I can find it. Nope. Oh, come on. Where are you at? Okay. Large beads are about 20 cents a piece. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $1.40. The wood beads are probably no more than 10 cents a piece. $1.60. Some wire, which is, I probably used about, and I don't know how the mesh or the clips would cost because they were freebies to us. Well, they weren't freebie, but you know, they weren't very expensive considering they were in the kits. So let's see. What did I do with my calculator? There it is. I'm going to just have to do a guesstimate at how much I'd want to charge for the, because of the clip and the mesh. So I think it would only be like about, unless I wanted to charge more for the clip and the mesh, I think it's only going to be like about $16 for this one. Stocking stuffer for every. Oh, that's true, Tina. The beat, and they also, you also can get them for in fact I have some. I wonder where they're at. Just a sec. I think I know where some are. Ouch. Ding. Ugh, they're dirty. Remember back in the day when we had these in, we made like candles. We had like the plastic candles. And whew, these are a little stinky. They smell oily. Weird. But that's what I had these for, was for like one of those candles that you put these in the, you put these guys in the at the bottom of a dish with water, and then put floating candles on top. So that's what I had these for. So you just down. Of course, I want to put spacers on with them if I'm going to leave them. We're going to leave them, but I had them in all different colors with different candles and stuff so that I could switch them out for different holidays and stuff. So I had a whole bunch of these little beads in various colors. So ta-da. So yeah, you could do something like that. These yellow beads are smaller, so I'd probably want to find some of the bigger beads, but that's a good idea. That worked really good. Yes, the mesh does come in different colors. I got as well as this beige color. This time I got this gray. I guess it's gray. It looks sort of gray, but it also looks like it might have some brown in it, depending on how you look at it. Oh, they call it hematite, this color. And this color is called silver. I don't know that it's silver. It looks sort of more, I don't know, golden to me. But anyway, that's what came in my box, were those two colors. So those little beads Smell like they had something spilled in with them. They stinky. But the little yellow ones are all right, but I think I would, that I have in here as far as, but I think I would rather have the bigger ones. That's the flat side right there. Go there. There. I knew this one was going to come out the end because of twisting it takes a lot of the wire or the cable cording stuff things. So you need more if you're going to do the twists. See how it just knocked these two last beads out when I twisted it? I'm not going to do the twists and it won't hold the twists. You have to put something over the top of it to keep it there. You need something to, but I think I like these little beads in here, but I'd have to decide. These little cord ends are bronze, and I think all of my all my large hole beads are silver. I think most of them are anyway. So I don't know if I could get this back off or not, since I'm planning on throwing this piece away. I squished it pretty good. I don't think it'll come off. I think it's done for. But that's all right. It's too short, so I'm not going to use it. So yeah, I would, these are the smaller beads here. The yellow ones are, the green one and the purple one have a pretty good size to them. So those would go really well in the mesh, I think. If I'm going to use their ends, I'm going to need to find some, I would need to find some different spacers. But these spacers work pretty good on the mesh. I thought they looked really good. Now I did get these spacers at Hobby Lobby, so I could get some more, but they're a little spin. $6.49 for a package of 25. So, and these beads stink, so I'm gonna go put them back in their bowl. But there's another idea of what to do with stuff from your kit, from your mystery box, if you got it and you got the mesh. Make a bracelet, and this one is a little bit, it's not as wiggly as when we first started because I did do the wire wrap around it. If you did the style with the flat stones or other things and put the spacers between, you wouldn't need probably as much of the mesh, and it wouldn't be as stiff. It would be more flexible. So there we go. Let's see if I'm missing anything here. And I think we got everything that went over everything. Oh, Cynthia was suggesting a stiff piece of paper in here to make a bookmark. And I would want something bright like construction paper or something. Though we could just now the problem with this is it might give you problems putting the paper down into the mesh because the corners, I think, are probably going to try and catch it. Pull it apart, but see, it'll stretch quite a bit. More than I thought it would. So you could put some really big things in here if you wanted to. Oh, come on. But yeah, this is what I was afraid of. See how the mesh is trying to catch the corners of this. And I'm not sure if we trimmed the corners down to rounded, if it would make a difference. And the other thing is, of course, how do you want to end it? Because I don't think you'd want to use your clips, though you could use the clip and maybe make a, oh, come on, open up. You could maybe, there we go. You are going to have to pull it as you put it through, because it's not, it stops when you get to the place where you're not as wide. But one thing you could do is, if you wanted to use the clips and use a bookmark for making a bookmark like this, but you're going to have to really work the paper through the mesh because it's not wanting to go. And I did clip the corners so they're sort of rounded, so it'll go in there easier. You have to figure out what you're going to do to end it, but at the same time, if you use the clip, you could use the little spot here and put a little charm or something on the bookmark. But if you're going to put the clips on both sides, you're going to probably want to make it long enough that it would go all the way through the book, so that your charm wouldn't hold up and, be stuck in your pages if you were going to do that. So it would work, see? You just have to work it. And a different color in there might be pretty. This is just white, but you can see through it because there's the picture from what I cut. So, yeah. I did round these corners here to help it go through some, because before I did, it didn't want to go through at all. So, but if you want to use the clip like this, and you might want to, because the clip is much smaller, you might want to trim your corners down even more so that it would go down into that area. But you could hang a little charm off the end. As far as the other side is concerned, I suppose you could just fold it over and glue it if you wanted to do it that way. I would have to think about that. Guess the ending might be problematic, but yeah, you could get a stiff piece of paper in there. You just have to work it. So it works. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty cool, actually. Could even decorate it. I just glue it on with some E6000 if I was going to put a pretty on like this. So but anyway, there is some ideas for the mesh. I mean, I gotta admit that I'm not overly caring about it. It doesn't really do a thing for me. You know, this is cute. This is, if you like a Wilma Flintstone kind of buttons, maybe. Yeah, good size buttons could fit into it. I'm gonna these things stink. I'm gonna go put them back. They need to be washed out good. But I actually used to have some really big buttons. I wonder if I still have them close by and can find them where I can. Well, I found one rather than a whole bunch, but I can push it through the mesh and show you what. This has still got the paper in it, but we can put this button in it too. But yeah, you could use buttons like that. Actually, if you wanted to use buttons for bookmark, you could, except for it makes it a little thick, but it works. Did I love The Wizard of Oz? Oh yeah, we used to watch that all the time when I was a kid. So all kinds of odds and ends ways to work it. It does work. It's just, what do you want to put in it? And you have it, in order for it to look really good, it does need to be something large. But like I said, it would be great for keepsake stuff, for little things you found and you want to make something out of it. But of course, they don't have holes, like little pieces of shell, little rocks, little sea glass, pretty things like that. So there is the bracelet. I think we're done for the day. Heather's going to come on, and what time is it? Oh yeah, she's going to be on in a half hour. So we're going to take off, and yep, there's another way of using some of your Beadle-On stuff. We'll see y'all later. This has been Rose. Well, let's turn up. When I say let's turn up, do you guys think the vegetable? Because I do. So anyway, that's what we made today, and we did a lot of experimenting with the mesh. I think I like the large hole beads across between the two. This is good, but I think if I make another one, I will use the large hole bead method over the top to separate stuff. I think that turned out really good. I think it really did. And I can't remember who came up with that idea, but I appreciate it. I think it turned out lovely. Marbles. Marbles would be good too. Those glass beads from that, like was suggested from, was that Tammy or was it Tina? Tina. From the fish bowls, those actually worked really nice. You just need to get big enough ones that they will stretch the mesh out enough so you can see through them good. So As you can see the color between these beads. You can tell between the wood and the glass. So that's our bracelet. But yeah, there's all kinds of things you can put in here as long as they're big enough to stretch your mesh out a little bit so it's just not got a baggy mess. But yeah, I really liked the idea of the large hole beads between them. That worked really nicely when we tried it. The large hole bales, which so you could put dangles, also was really cute. And if you were doing like a beach theme, like if you wanted to put shells or pretty rocks or stuff like that you've gathered on the beach, then you could use the bales with the dangles and put like little charms like seahorses and starfish and stuff like that, and that would be and the shell ones too. That would be really cute. So I think that idea would work really nicely too. And maybe we'll try that one of these days. But I have to find something I like as far as putting in it. Um, I I do have those beads, but they were stinky. I don't know what fell in that bowl with them. I'm going to have to clean those up. But the bigger ones looked pretty cool in the mesh. And then if we put, like I said, the bales on either side, you could turn it into like a beachy item by putting some charms, and that would look nice. But yeah, all kinds of cool ideas. So anyway, like I said, Heather's going to be on in about 20 minutes, so we're going to take off. And this is Friday, so I will see about making something for a video for tomorrow. I actually think that my husband wants to go down to Jim Mountain before they close, so I think we might be going down and digging sapphires. Well, panning sapphires. They already dug the dirt and just put it in buckets, and then you buy the bucket and then you pan and see what you come up with. And we always get some nice sapphires. So my husband wants to do that tomorrow, so we'll probably do that. So, but I have in the past, the internet's not good there, so we can't really, I can't really do anything as far as a live there, but I have taken some photos before and sent them off to you guys. But you're thinking of opening an Etsy shop? That's cool. Etsy shops. I don't do a lot with my Etsy shop. I do sell some, but not a lot. But half of that is because I don't update it enough. I tend to be lazy on putting stuff in it. So, especially at this time of the year, because most of the stuff that is in it is my when the stuff I tend to make in the summertime goes to my craft show stuff, so I don't update it as much as I need to, but I do sell occasionally from them. So anyway, I've got PT this afternoon for my knee, so but I will try to get something recorded for you guys for tomorrow, and then I'll see you Monday morning. Yes, she did mention that this morning, Beth. I did see that. So, like I said, I have PT at 1:00, so I don't know if I'm going to be back in time. Probably. Well, no, it's 3:00 her time, right? So I just will be getting out at 2, which would be 3:00 her time. So I doubt if I will. Well, I probably won't make the beginning of it, but I might make later on in the afternoon. So we'll see how that goes. But like I said, Heather's going to be on in 20 minutes. Time for us to go. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and I will see everybody Monday, if not sooner. So, bye-bye, everybody.